spirit wandered all alone for ages long. It drifted there through shadows deep without a care. But then a spark lit up the night, a thought took wing, a blaze of light, and from that light the world was born, the first bright breath, the break of dawn. Hey ho, the winds did blow, water danced and streams did flow, earth stood steady, strong and tall, the fire of life did warm them all. A playful breeze, it danced and laughed among the trees. Then water followed pure and free, singing down to meet the sea. But while they were without a guide, the earth came next with grounded pride, steady, solid, strong and true, to hold the dance of life in view. Hey ho, the winds did blow, water danced and streams did flow, earth stood steady, strong and tall, the fire of life did warm them all. The rivers twined, thunder roared with hills aligned, but still it lacked a warming grace, till fire lit up every place. The fire was fierce, the fire was bold, it made the land no longer cold. Flowers bloomed and creatures ran, the world alive with every plan. And so the spirit smiled wide, for now all things were unified. The air, the water, earth and flame, together dancing all the same. Hey ho, the winds did blow, water danced and streams did flow, earth stood steady, strong and tall, the fire of life did warm them all. So sing, my friends of earth and sky, of waters deep and flames on high, for in the heart of all that's free, the breath of life is you and me. Of earth and sky, of waters deep and flames on high, for in the heart of all that's free, the breath of life is you and me. Oh, in the dark when no light shone, the spirit wandered all alone. For ages long it drifted there, through shadows deep without a care. But then a spark lit up the night, a thought took wing, a blaze of light, and from that light the world was born, the first bright breath, the break of dawn. Hey ho, the winds did blow, danced and streams did flow, earth stood steady, strong and tall, the fire of life did warm them all. The air came first, a playful breeze, it danced and laughed among the trees. Then water followed pure and free, singing down to meet the sea. But while they were without a guide, the earth came next with grounded pride, steady, solid, strong and true, to hold the dance of life in view. Hey ho, the winds did blow, water danced and streams did flow, earth stood steady, strong and tall, the fire of life did warm them all. The mountains rose, the rivers twined, thunder roared with hills aligned, but still it lacked a warming grace, till fire lit up every place. The fire was fierce, the fire was bold, it made the land no longer cold. Flowers bloomed and creatures ran, the world alive with every plan. And so the spirit smiled wide, for now all things were unified. The air, the water, earth and flame, together dancing all the same. Hey you and me. So in the darkness long before, when a low light had touched the shore, spirit wandered, formless free, in the shadows of eternity. But a whisper soft and true, from the void the light it flew. Words were spoken, worlds were made, and the spirit bright displayed. Oh, the breath of the divine, wind and water, earth entwined, with the spark of fire's flame, life and song forever came. Air was born in joy and grace, swept the void in endless chase. Water danced beside in play, singing drops of break of day. Yet their freedom, wild and vast, needed form to hold it fast. So with earth the song was laid, in the soil creation stayed. Oh, the breath of the divine, wind and water, earth entwined, with the spark of fire's flame, life and song forever came. Air was born in joy and grace, swept the void in endless chase. Water danced beside in play, singing drops of break of day. Yet their freedom, wild and vast, needed form to hold it fast. So with earth the song was laid, in the soil creation stayed. Oh, the breath of the divine, wind and water, earth entwined, with the spark of fire's flame, life.
Hello. Oh, the light's not working. 1 second.
Shook the newborn world. Fire's heat and love were cast. Light began, the die was past.
Hello.
Where winds once blew, in the
Hello.
all aflame, will the
Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. How is everyone doing? Hello and welcome. Hello. Hello.
balance found,
Hello.
joy in every sound.
How is everyone doing? This fine, very professional, late night Tuesday stream. Oomph. Hello. Welcome. How are you doing? Dilly. Had it turned up for the song and I scared you. I'm sorry. Yes. At some point I'm going to need to share my playlist with everyone because, it's all music that I wrote, right? Right, Dilly? Right? JC, hello, hello. Delvy, hello. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully everyone is having a fine, awesome Tuesday. Oh, I might have died. I got caught in my own stairs. This happens. But, fortunately, I was covering up what was happening, so you couldn't actually see the embarrassment. That cathedral has claimed my life more than once. Mod, hello. Welcome, everyone. Because my editors tell me, I say my editors like I have other people. I don't. Because introductions help the algorithm out. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Eltarii the Professional Gamer, and this is another very professional live stream. Today is going to be a little bit of a shorter one. We are going to be showing off a couple of things, and then we are also going to be talking about what everyone is wondering, what is going to actually be in the autumn update that is slated to come out in the next couple of weeks, right? Should be pretty close to when we see the update. And there's a couple of things that the devs have mentioned are going to be in the next update. There's also things that they said that they hope it's going to be in the next update. And then there's everything else. So we're going to talk about all of that and a whole lot more in today's shorter, kind of abridged version of Pax Day Live. And part of that is just because, so the Golden Company, should I make myself a little bit bigger? Does anyone care? Like, should I be like this big? Does anyone care about how big I am? You make all alt to keep you all, keep your important item in even. I think I know what you're trying to say, Ahmad. You're asking if I'm keeping an alt to store all of the important stuff during the wipe, I think. No, I am we have kind of a wipe strategy to make sure that all the important materials are being stored on someone, or not, just in case something disappears. But for the most part, we are, if we end up losing stuff, whatever, we end up losing stuff. It happens. But yes, so what we're talking about today. So like for anyone who's just joining us and you haven't seen a PAX Day Live yet, typically we will sit and talk. Other times we'll give kind of like live demos of how we do things. And this one, I would not call it speculative. I would call it more so confirmatory of what things are actually going to be in the autumn update. There's a lot of people out there who like to speculate, and they're far better at it than I am. So I'm not even going to try to speculate. I like to go off the cold, hard, clear facts that we have to work with. And that's what we are going to be doing today. But before we do that, I did kind of want to show. So why we're late. That's what I was talking about before I got distracted. Why I was late going live today. So because the wipe is coming, the Golden Company, so the clan that I help lead, we are kind of going through one-on-ones with leadership and individual members. And we're doing that to kind of align and make sure that everything's squared away and ready to go for the next update, maintain organization and communication across everyone. So if there's something that like I'm missing, then someone else can tell me that I'm missing it, or, how we can improve or do whatever. And, I think it's something that a lot of clans should do a lot more often to keep a healthy organization. It's a lot of freaking work though, y'all. It is so much work. So in the last 2 days since we started, open the schedule to do these one-on-ones, I think, I get home from work, maybe I have a chance to go and work out, maybe not. I have so many projects that I'm working on at any point in time. I need to get better at that. But professional gym person, maybe that's a second channel opportunity, who knows? But I digress. So the purpose of these one-on-ones, we've been having them for 2 days now, and I basically get home and go straight to doing. In fact, I haven't even gotten home some of the nights. I just call in on Discord calls so that we can do them. But they're super important, and they're incredibly highly valuable to the clan as a whole. And I'm super glad that we're doing them because it gives everyone kind of an opportunity to share their thoughts. And there's been a couple of things where I've been like, oh, didn't even think about that. Thank you for bringing it up. So that's been really, really cool. And that's kind of why I was late, is because my schedule got a little thrown sideways. And then I had 3 people in 3 different time zones all scheduled the exact same time. But I didn't know it was the exact same time because I was thinking everything was converted over to my time zone, and it wasn't. So I actually had 3 people scheduled at the same time. Whoops. Sorry, Ambi, Timeless, and Isabel. I do appreciate your flexibility. So what we're going to be showing before we, take a quick little jump over to what's going to be coming in the autumn update. I keep on walking up and down these stairs because I'm like, oh, I'm going to introduce it. And then I talk about something else instead. So around this time every year, the Golden Company tries to put on a really big festival. In fact, last year we put on PAX Day's first ever in-game event run by players, and it was called the Golden Festival, and it was in celebration of the first ever open alpha, no NDA for Pax Day coming to a close. So I find it kind of fitting that around this time again, there's going to be a wipe, and we want to make it kind of like an annual event that many people come and attend. And what's even better is that we can offer prizes at this Golden Festival that we are running and preparing. And those prizes actually carry over into the next wipe cycle because you get to keep all the items and skills and all of that from your character. So if you want to come and attend this Golden Festival, we are on Danu, specifically where the Golden Festival is located. So this is the Golden Isle. It's called that, not because we're on it, but because it's entirely covered in this meadows biome with these golden flowers all around the entire island. So it's called the Golden Isle. It's pretty fitting that the Golden Company is also on this island and we own the entirety of this island. Yay. But it's going to be held between this island, and we actually own this as well. And then it comes over here, and this is kind of our festival area. So this is what we have graciously called the Golden Cove. Do note that I feel like pretty much everything in the Golden City, it has to have a GC abbreviation. It's just kind of happenstance, but hey, whatever. So this is where it's going to be located. This is in Danu, on the server Danu in Dolavan, and which is in Carries, mind you. And if you spawn in at the Petra Day, then there you go. I don't think most people are actually even able to spawn into the Petra Day because Dolavan is full. So you'd have to spawn in at Tremin or in Lidlaw in order to do that. It's a really short walk up pretty much after you leave Lidlaw. You can just kind of run over here and you'll be pretty much right at the city. It's like a 15-minute walk. Really, really close. But the festival itself, Golden Festival, is going to be held in what we call the Golden Cove. And this actually, if anyone's wondering, if anyone's like looking for a new place to build, this was actually a strong second place for where the Golden Company was going to build the Golden City. Originally, obviously, there's this behemoth over here, which I need to really go high up in elevation to show off. But, this is everything on this island is all built by the Golden Company. And yeah, it's huge. Future iterations of the Golden City, we want to integrate more players and not just have it be Golden Company members. We want it to be a bunch of friendly peoples. It could be large, small, medium-sized groups that are kind of wanting to get in on some of this craziness that's in the city and, contribute and be a part of it and build this awesome, like, metropolitan, effectively a capital city in game. That's kind of our goal, and to really build that community out with everything that's there. But obviously we chose this, and a really solid second place was actually this area right here. So first and foremost, if Mainframe ever adds waterfalls to the game, I am pretty sure this is where one of them would be, because it just looks like that's where it should be. I don't know about all of you, but it very clearly screams waterfall. But either way, really awesome area, moderately flat, only a couple of trees. It's screaming to have kind of like right here be like a castle with a wall that kind of comes around. And then you have this natural water formation right here. And then over here, you can have more of a city that's outside the wall, and it's nice and flat, but it feels really nestled in all right here. And then we even have kind of over here an example of a castle that could overlook the city down below. So if you are a group of players looking for where to go during the next wipe cycle, highly recommend this location. Really, really great. Now, what I'm going to be showing you right now is the festival grounds that we're in the process of building in preparation for having the Golden Festival. So we don't know exactly when the Golden Festival is going to be. other than it's going to be the weekend before the wipe happens, most likely on Saturday. But that is, we still don't know the date. I'm, hoping, knock on wood, that we're going to be getting a information on when that wipe is actually going to be happening, most likely this week, hopefully, ideally. So either way, this is the Golden Festival grounds. We're just going to go through a couple of the fun things that await you in the Golden Festival. And, we have all of these different stalls for like various fair foods and all of that. This whole feel is supposed to be more like ramshackle, like something was put together by like a traveling, troupe of people that are traveling around. But we do have a lot of different things for people to participate in here. Now, when you come up to here, what we're planning on having, I'm pretty sure, is a ticketing booth. So you're going to be able to come in, and I don't think you're going to have to buy anything literally. Maybe you will. And we're going to have tickets. We're going to give those tickets away. It's going to be some kind of item. We're not going to say what it is, but those items are going to be contributed or given out to players as tickets. And then all of the different fair rides are going to be the different costs of tickets. So like right here, for example, this is like a spectator thing, but we have effectively what this is it's like bobbing for apples. So it's kind of like Battleship. You're going to get to pick, players are going to get to stand on where they want to, bob for an apple. And based on where they're standing, they will get or not get a prize. And we're going to have a lot of different prizes. You can, whoops, sorry, Black Wolf, you're going to have to change that. But you can kind of see it right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 going across. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 going down. So there's 7 going across and 4 going down. So it's a direct mirror image of what it's going to be. Obviously, we're going to swap these around since I've now shown it. But when a player steps on it, they're either going to get an apple or they're going to get a plum. There's many apples. There's only 1 plum, and then there's a lot of water. So you'll get something different based on that, and we'll have the opportunity for many people to participate in this. So yeah, it's our version of bobbing for apples. It's going to be a really fun little game. And then as we go up, there's going to be kind of like a fortune teller's hut. I think, is this the fortune teller's hut? We'll figure out what this is. But right now there's a lot of beehives here. Always got to have a beehive. But then we have 2 slides. I'll show what those are at the very end because there's a high probability at least one of them is going to kill me. Then over here, I think we have another fair game as well. This is like the, pick, find out where the thing is. It's like the cup game, I think is what it's called. So you'll be able to guess where the nice item is. And you'll call out, like, is it the rune, the star, the heart, the moon, or like whatever that is. You'll pick what the symbol is, and then if you guess correctly, you get a prize. Then over here, further towards the top, we do have something really cool that I'm excited to show. A couple of really cool things, actually. First and foremost, we have a mansion. This is a mansion of what some may think is potentially a vampire that has come all the way from Gothia to set up shop for a while. Now, in this particular format, you might need to bring yourself a lamp to navigate everything, but regardless, it is a dark maze. And you can take one of these cool little lanterns and you can try and walk your way around and get all the way through the different. I'm not going to solve the maze in front of everyone right now, so you can just memorize it and go from there. But you get the gist of it. There's a lot of different paths that all lead to the same place. You never know which way is right and which way is left. And it's going to be a really, really fun little opportunity for people to explore and play a little, fun maze game. Maybe there's someone hiding inside that's going to scare you when you're walking through it. I don't know. But then directly behind it over here, we do have a rock climbing wall. And, this is something that's very near and dear to my heart, as a nickname that I've been given in game is Eltarii the Sure-Footed. And that is because of my ability to scale the wall. And there is a huge rock wall here where you can choose all the different paths and how to get up to the very, very top. There's a couple of different ways to get up there. Maybe not. You'll have to come and try it out. And obviously when you get there, you'll be able to win a prize by getting to the top. We might even do time trials. And then over here, every circus festival has to have a big top. So that's what we got. We got a big top. And, we'll have a couple of different shows available for people to participate in and have some fun in. And this is the underneath area that, we keep all of the little, bears or boars or whatever else decides to make a feature in our circus shows. And then we have a really big fire pit. And this may or may not be seats for giants who are coming down from the hills. We don't know, but locals have spoken towards the existence of giants. So it's tradition here in Dolavan to set up large chairs so that the mountain giants can come down and have a seat and enjoy their time, though no one's yet seen one. So there is that little mystery there as well. Then there is one other thing that I want to show before I start showing off the slides that we've come up with, and this is our jumping puzzle. I do love myself a good jumping puzzle, and this one's got a more direct route, but either way, I do enjoy it, and it is a good test of people's abilities to scale all the different pieces of a building and make it all the way across without, falling off, because it would be a real shame if someone did. Oops, there we go. See? But, of course, there's always a way. As they say, life finds a way. And it just gets higher with higher stakes. There's one thing that I like more than anything else, and that is steak. So higher stakes is even better. And there you go. So we're going to be building a couple of different jumping puzzles that hopefully don't kill you. Or maybe they do, so you have to try it again. But we'll, of course, have circus attendants to help with all of this, too. Now, we also have these two slides. I'm going to try and pick one that doesn't kill me first, but no guarantees that I'm going to survive. So this first one is a nice little slide. And sorry, the lighting's kind of taking a while to update. But, you get over here and there's a couple of different slides. But we'll try this one to begin with and see where we get to. So obviously a little bit more tame. And then I do believe this one is called the Death Slide. But speaking of Death Slide, we do have one last thing to kind of show off right now. And we're still coming up with a bunch of different things. This isn't the final state. This is merely the first kind of build out. And we're going to keep on adding stuff until the Golden Festival happens. Now, this one, you might die. There's a 2,500 100% likelihood that when I crawl over the side of this, I will die. You are going to have a certain... Oh, I survived. So it's because I wasn't holding W. Let me show you it again. So we are going to have a health requirement. So your health must be this high in order to ride this ride safely. But of course, we'll have some circus attendants here to kind of pick people up if they do die. And I'll show you that here. And then we'll get to the autumn update stuff as well. So you can see we're flying, and we did hit the ground there. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, hold on. I actually have that sound effect. So, normally you'd get picked up by a nice little member of the Golden Company who's keeping watch at that point. Thank you, JC. I think it's hilarious. When I first went down it, I was not expecting to go that far that quickly. It would be really, really cool to kind of make a slalom at a way larger scale. And now that we know that this works, we can kind of go to work on that in the future. But all right, so next thing I kind of wanted to talk about, because we are 25-ish minutes into the actual stream here, is we're going to talk about what is actually in the next update. And I am going to, once I recover my gear here, we're going to, bring some stuff up and write some stuff down as well. And I think, we'll have some cool stuff to talk about. Now, I do think that the update is coming in maybe the next 3 weeks. I think at most we'll get it the first week of November. I think best case, we're going to get it the last week of October. I think those are the more likely times. I know that some people are being a little bit more optimistic, like it's happening this week still. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's pretty unlikely, but hey, who knows? I've been wrong before. So, we're going to talk about that. A couple of the features that I think... So there's a couple of features that haven't been mentioned by the devs yet, and that might be a little concerning. Like we have thought that it's going to be in the update, but maybe it's not. Maybe that's something that's going to be waiting until the winter update, which maybe that's coming, around December timeframe. But if that's coming then maybe we're getting another wipe at that point. But maybe that wipe is going to be a bigger wipe that includes a lot more stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of questions still kind of left up in the air. And that's why it's worth kind of taking some time and chatting about it in a fun format like a PAX Day Live. So, but as we're kind of still recovering our gear here, get some water. Now, like I said, the Golden Festival, we are building this for everyone. It's going to be a pretty big event, something that you won't want to miss out on. It should be pretty fun. We're going to be recording. We're going to be having a jolly old time celebrating everything that we as players have accomplished, not just in the Golden City or the Golden Company, but in the game as a whole. And we wave goodbye to this version of this version of PAX Day and welcome in a new one. It's always a fun time to go and do that. So let's close out of this and then we'll swap over to some notepads and stuff like that. We'll talk about all of those wonderful, wonderful things. All right. So what are we going to be talking about here? Let's pull up some stuff here. No. And let's see here. There we go. This is what I... Nope. All right. I'm pulling up the wrong thing. There we go. Duh. Okay, so... Oops. Oh, there goes everything. All right, everyone. Did I pick the wrong thing? Did I pick the wrong thing? There we go. Hello, everyone. Okay, so a needle pulling thread. Actually, let me just come over here really quick. Make sure that this is all squared away as it should be. We can come right up to here. Take a look there. Okay, so first things first. Let's take a look at the official Discord. There was an update that came out. I think this came out like early yesterday. Like super early yesterday. But we're getting some updates for the what is that called? The Inquisition. And so for everyone who's wondering, the Inquisition comes from a place called Anatolia, which is kind of inspired by like Byzantine, like Greco-Roman influences, but something that would be more medieval. And there's certain types of armors that kind of came from that time period. And we did get an update where they're showing off kind of some of the enemy character models. So like we have a couple of different ones. Like we have I think before this was something that might be why not make the slide go down to the ground? Well, Mushy, we are working on that. It's a work in progress. Ideally, people are not going to die when they go down our slide. But as I was saying here, these models are the new Inquisition, and they're pretty cool. The one that I really liked is like this one all the way over here. That let's see if we can get might be able to get like a better image here. Open that up. So like, I don't know what the heck is going on with this helmet here, but I'm about it. It looks cool. Doesn't this look freaking cool? It doesn't look very medieval if you're asking me. It almost, so okay, actually I take that back. It looks like the person's wearing chainmail underneath the helmet. And maybe their head's tilted like down or something like that. But really, really cool. I really liked that. I also like there's a gambus in here, but it's got some metal padding on it as well, is what it looks like. And we see that in a couple of different areas where there's like this, not like scale mail, but almost like it. Looks really, really cool. And there's a bunch of different armor pieces that all have it. You know, the helmet looks kind of weird on this with the nose piece going like further. It looks like it's maybe misplaced. This is really cool. I like these types of helmets. Definitely looks kind of like Papal in some way. Okay, so the pink color. I don't think it's pink. I think it's supposed to be purple, and this is just the shaders and all of that. So I don't think it's actually pink. If anything, I think it's going to be more purple, which is more like regal. In that regards, I don't think it's meant to be pink. I don't know though. But I don't I mean, it's very clear that, I mean, look at these eyes here. It's very clear that these are all still kind of being worked on. They're definitely works in progress. But still cool nonetheless. I do think that we'll eventually be able to get some of these in game, in terms of like armor. One thing that I found interesting here is that there's chainmail. Like it's very, maybe it's not chainmail. It looked like there was chainmail, but there's clearly chainmail right here. But then there's cloth underneath it. But then there's cloth on top of it. And then this kind of looks like the cloth shoulder piece. So to me, I feel like there's going to be a lot of, you know, if we're able to eventually craft these, that's going to be really, really cool. But it would be really awesome to kind of get like an integration of like cloth with chain, and like you can craft those, but maybe you need a little combo between a couple of things. Here's that helmet that we saw over here as well. I guess I could have zoomed in here. Looks like they do have some eye slits right here, but again, that chainmail is coming down. I really like how that's integrated. That to me feels a lot more realistic. Like you're not just going to wear you're not just going to wear a helmet. A lot of times you're going to wear a helmet plus chainmail. Like it doesn't make sense to not wear chainmail to cover and protect your neck in some of these. You know, if that's your goal. Like for example, this right here, like what is the purpose of a helmet if I can just like slice you sideways? I feel like there should be some kind of like shoulder neck protection right here, because that's just a super huge exposed area that I feel like should be covered. I do like the tabards, you know, being a different color. I feel like this is going to be like a golden cape or something like that going in the background, or maybe it's just an attachment for the breastplate. Could the different versions of pink and purple just show different kinds of cloth? It might be. Like maybe they vary based on actual cloth type. It could be that too. So then we have one thing that I did notice here is it looks like we got some boots. I can't tell though, but it looks like these are either shin covers, or they're most likely shin covers now that I'm looking at them. It's like spurs. They all kind of have the same little motif here going across. I do feel like this staff might be a little bit weird. It looks very placeholdery. I don't know. Like to me, it looks a little weird, just because like it feels too big, like, way too big in my opinion. But you know, it'd be really cool if we can get a staff. Like this staff feels a lot closer. Like I feel like you're able to actually hold it. I don't know. And then we obviously got the pick hammer that has the pointy end to pierce through armor, or the multiple bits here to just mess up your body in multiple ways. But so for these, we did get told that they're trying to get them into this update, but there's no guarantee yet. So they're still actively working on what a lot of the, you know, stuff is going to be for this. So like the Inquisition. So this is stuff in progress. And we know the Inquisition is work in progress. So I don't know if it's going to get added yet. I mean, hopefully that it does. I hope it is, and it looks like they're getting pretty close to being done. So that's a good sign. But then what else do we have here? Some other things that we know that they're working on. This is stuff that is looking like it's complete. So, stuff complete. So on the stuff complete section, I do think that we have the PvE, the soloable content. So I think you are going to be able to get some solo PvP. I said PvP, PvE content. I do think that that's coming. Another thing that they've told us that is complete is the like attack / spell cancel. So that's something that is coming. Then we also have what else do we have? There is, let's pull up the Discord. We got a new biome and new roads, but that's not really like something there. We do have the journal. And that also comes with like a crafting skill skill change. Maybe I should put that on a different level. Yeah, new biome. You're also correct on that. Crafting skill change, and then we also have so like when I say crafting skill change, I mean like I think herbalism is being taken out because it's not distinct enough yet. There's also going to be combat skill change. Two-handed swords are getting taken out. Great swords are getting taken out, and they're going to get re-added at a later time. So combat skill change. Then we got the new biome. And the new biome is going to be the corrupted plains. Right. So we got the new biome, the crafting skills, the journal, attack, spell, cancel, PvE, soloable. Okay, so stuff that's in progress. Good point on the new crafting tier. So they haven't confirmed that we're going to get that new crafting tier yet. So I'm going to put that in the stuff in progress section. Crafting tier going up. Another thing that they've mentioned way back when they first talked about the stuff that they're going to add in the next update or 2 updates, markets. And then also not just markets, but knighthoods. So these are things that we want to hear more about because they're things that are going to be coming. Also, this one really hasn't been mentioned a lot. Parishes or the churches. So, we know based on a couple of articles that were French, published by French journals, and we translated them, that parishes and churches have a connection to knighthoods. So we're hypothesizing that in this first iteration that knighthoods are going to have this connection to parishes, which means parishes have to exist. That reminds me of another thing that we have completed, and that is the new spells, right? So there's been at least 6 new spells that we've seen so far. So that's cool. Then we also have... so with those new spells, I'm going to draw a little connection line here. So with these, I'm thinking that they all look like they're divine magic. So maybe there's a connection there, and we can actually see some of those. If I scroll down right here, you can see them all down here. And we covered these in one of the last PAX Friday reviews. This one was pretty exciting because there was one with like feet and stamina, like maybe it increases your running speed. Meanwhile, there was another one that was like a lightning bolt and a gust of wind. We don't know if that's like a stun or it's a push or like what's going on, or if it's just boosting your stamina. Like we don't know what it is. And then someone recommended in the comment section actually of this video of the PAX Friday review, they said with the heart being in an hourglass, it might be like a heal over time, or it's like a life drain where, you know, you're drawing life away from someone and adding it to someone else. That would be really, really cool. But these were 3 of the ones that were added. And then we can go and see a little further back. And we have this one where we see 3 other ones. Now this one, we have a foot, like a pair of feet that look like they're chained up. So maybe this is a CC or crowd control spell. Then we have this one right here where there's like 3 hearts or a 4-leaf clover. Someone suggested that this might be like a luck spell. If it is, that's really freaking cool. And then this one right here is another lightning bolt, though I would say that this looks more like a stamina style of lightning bolt because it's different than the other lightning bolts that we've seen. But those are the 6 new spells that we've seen so far. So there's at least 6. But if you noticed, I guess I didn't need to close it. If you noticed, on all of them, they all have the same gold with like white background and there's a star in the background. To me, I think that means that they're divine. It's like divine magic. Theoretically, the fireball spell also is divine magic. You can even see the star that's in the background, but to me, it seems like it's an elemental spell. So that's why it's red instead of gold. So you have divine magic, which is kind of separate. And then you have, an elemental magic, which is not. And we actually talked about the different elements of magic in the last PAX Friday review. You should go check us out on YouTube and watch that, because we talk about the elements of creation and how that all kind of plays in. So there is that. So we do know that there's 6 new spells, and we also know that there's knighthoods, and then we know that knighthoods are connected to churches. So then we have these 2 connections. One, we know that there's 6 new spells. We know that knighthoods are being worked on, and that they shared that knighthoods are coming with the update in autumn. So we know that these are coming. We just don't know if it's done yet. So to me, that's a pretty good indication that they must be working also on the parishes and like the ecclesiastical system as well. But and then in terms of markets, they haven't confirmed this necessarily, but I feel like markets and PvE soloable, let me redirect the arrow. I feel like PvE soloable content is going to tie into markets, giving players that are solo the ability to go and farm for gold so that they can get that gold and then add into the markets. I think that the market system is going to play into parishes. Like, you're going to put in gold and get grace out. So the grace system will do like a little sub arrow here. That's a horrible arrow. A sub arrow for grace, which is a new resource. New resource. So we do have that as well, which is getting potentially added. And I think that markets and gold and spending gold on things like grace are going to create a gold sink, which then creates value. And then that value will then, translate to like priests being able to do miracles, like teleportation miracles or other different types of miracles to provide like real value to players. But it's going to require gold as like a resource input, so then they can acquire grace, like exchange gold for grace and then exchange grace for cool effects. So I feel like that's something that's coming. Are we expecting 2 updates in 2024? This autumn one and another one before the end of the year. I don't know. I think there's going to be a winter update. I don't know if it's going to be before the end of 2024. I think it's probably safer to assume that there's going to be like an update in January or February. Still winter, but not necessarily like, because that only gives them, if it comes out, you know, it's the 15th right now. If it comes out on the 29th, then that gives them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And then they're not going to come out with anything past the 10th, really, because if they release on the 17th and it takes them a week to like fix all the stuff that breaks, then like they're going to be bleeding into like the Christmas holiday, and they have that time frame off. I don't think they start back up until around the 7th. So I don't think they'll, that I mean, in reality gives them a month and a half to build new stuff. Maybe it'll be a smaller content update, but I think the big update that, you know, might result in us translating over to 5.4. I think 5.4 is going to be in the winter update, but I don't think that'll come until after, like, as we go into 2025. So, you know, but we do know that they're working on updating to 5.3 right now. I think this update, we are going to be translating over to that. Don't count on 2 updates. No chance it's happening. Yeah, I know that there's going to be 2 updates, one for autumn and one for winter. I just don't know if the winter update's going to happen before the Christmas holidays. I think if the autumn update goes really well, then maybe they do another sprint and they are able to get the other stuff out. Maybe it's going to be like a follow-on patch, but I think it's probably more realistic for us to kind of have, you know, that other thing. So where they have 2 updates, one in like January or February. I think whatever happens in January or February, we're going to get that 5.4 UE. And we all saw the updates for 5.5. We did a live stream on that a couple weeks ago, and that update is going to be insane for stuff in Pax Day. So these things, though, we know are coming. They're just probably not going to come right now. Another thing that we know that they've been working on is, I say guild, but I mean clan permissions. So that's something that needs, that they're working on, or they've mentioned they've worked on. That's coming. We just don't know the status of it yet. TM says mounts. Okay, so with mounts, I know I don't like looking at data mine files. I think Pax Day is best played without looking at the data mine files. Also without going to like the websites, the all the different wikis, because a lot of those wikis are using data mined files. And like, you know, okay, I'll show an example. Vial chain pants, Pax Day. Okay. So you're a player and you're using this website, right? You're on here and you're like, let's use the thing. And you want to make the vial chainmail pants. Why? Because you know that if you make the vial chainmail pants, you're going to get consecrated ground 1, but it's going to be on chainmail, and chainmail gives better armor. So you're like, yes, this is what I want. And you're like, oh, cool, this exists. I'm going to go and find it. What do I need? Oh, I need a shiny purple crystal. And now you're going to go around the world looking for this shiny purple ethereal crystal. It's not in the game right now. So you're going to go waste all of your time looking for something, and you're going to kill. You know that ethereal crystals come from lost souls, but the lost soul that you're looking for isn't in game right now. It used to be in the game, but it's not in game anymore. And this is a remnant of a past wipe, a past cycle where you could get the shiny purple ethereal crystal, and you're just not. This is why, data mined websites aren't the best, because they're going to be giving you information and no one vets them. and you can waste a lot of time. Players can get really frustrated from it, and all of that. So mounts. There was someone who accessed some data mined files, and they saw some files for mounts. We know that they want mounts to happen. I can spell. But this is something that is coming. My guess is spring or summer. Or later. I don't think that's coming in the winter update. I don't think that's coming in the autumn update. I think it's later than that. It's either going to be spring or it's something that's going to come with the release of the game. It'll be one of the last features they add. So yeah. Honey literally was looking at those pants, and we were planning, as we were planning gear for our clan. Yeah. So that gear, the reason why I tell people like, hey, you know, I'm not going to tell you how to play the game, but sometimes when you go and look on the site, you're getting a little carried away and you see things and then you're like, oh, I want to go get them. And then you can't because they don't exist. So, TM, I do think mounts are coming. I think they're just coming later. Man of Valor, with all due respect, this is all very nice, but if the game continues with the intention of its current monetization, no one will join the game, let alone have the possibility of experiencing all of this. I appreciate your opinion, Man of Valor, and we can agree to disagree on that. The monetization plan that they have right now, we don't explicitly know. We can't really comment on what's going to work and what's not going to work, when all we know is that they have charged us a licensing fee, you know, to own the game, which we've all paid. And then they're going to charge a monthly fee to own plots. I mean, in my opinion, that monthly fee that you're getting, or that monthly fee that you're paying, like I said, in my opinion, you're getting more than a game like World of Warcraft, where you're spending $15 and what are you getting? Like a premium currency that you can go and buy like random items in game. You know, in Pax Day, at least the money that you're spending on your sub is literally going to owning, you know, some land in the game that you can do stuff on. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for players to not pay. And I think what people aren't thinking about, you know, the way that we're developing the Golden City is I want the Golden City to be a place where you don't even have to be a subscriber to the game. Like, you have a free account and you're able to still participate and play. We'll have a place for you to live. You'll be able to store your own items on a plot, have all of that stuff available, and you'll be able to do it just by, you know, paying in-game currency like gold or services exchanged. Or maybe we'll just offer it for free because we want you to be in the city and participating and having fun. We're building stuff like that, and we intend to build stuff like that. So even if you're not subscribed to the game, you're still going to be able to enjoy it effectively to its fullest extent. The only difference is that you won't get to build your own things. But you also have to think about it in terms of like the general scale of it as well, because if we have it where you don't have to spend any money in order to build, and you can just place infinite numbers of plots, or you get 3 plots, and then if you buy another account, you get 3 plots, and if you buy another account, you get 3 plots. Well, guess what? There's going to be people out there who are going to go and spend $1,000. They're going to buy, you know, 400 plots, and charge them in coal. Exactly, honey. That's our intent. But you're going to have these people who go and buy 400 plots, and they're going to build a bunch of things on those 400 plots, and they're going to fill up half a server. Right now, servers can hold around 800 plots total. And there is a cost to mainframe to maintain all of the data that is on those plots. Okay. There's just a standard cost for having those servers running the data that's on it. If that person stops playing the game and they're inactive, mainframe still has to pay for the servers to store that data for the off chance that person comes back to the game. If they don't, then that stuff just stays there infinitely. Now, the way that games fix this, the way that games like in this kind of area fix it, is they do constant wipes. A game like Rust, where you don't have a subscription fee, but you do have building and some survival dynamics and stuff like that. Yeah, you're gonna pay a one-time fee, and then the game manages the wipe cycle by or the data storage kind of boundary, with just one, outsourcing the server costs to the players themselves, and then two, the way that those people have their servers literally not catch on fire is they wipe after every X amount of time. Mainframe they want to create a living world that has a history. They're not planning on doing any wipes after the game releases, whenever that ambiguous point in time is. So once it's released, there's going to be no wipes. So that guy with 400 plots, he's just going to have his plots there permanently. And he doesn't have any incentive to log in and to play the game. And, a subscription fee is a great way to incentivize someone to do it. Yes, that person, might pay the subscription fee and still not log in. But this is a responsibility of mainframe for all of us. If they have a practice where they're not charging a subscription fee, and they have 30 of these people who went and do just that. I mean, imagine, you've seen the Golden City. Imagine if all of the members of the Golden Company just stopped playing on release after we built this giant city, and now no one, there's 150 plots that no one can place in Dullivan right now because we have that, but we're not playing the game anymore. We moved on and went to greener pastures. There's obviously going to be someone who's going to keep paying, but because they're still paying that subscription fee, then mainframe's covering the cost of maintaining the server for all the stuff that they're doing, and they're allowing themselves to be able to build more content for us in the future. I think it's a responsible thing for mainframe to do at the end of the day, financially responsible, because if they came in and they were like, oh, we're just gonna do like a in-game store where you can buy skins. Well, guess what? If they have a skin shop where you can go and buy skins, they're going to be incentivized to hire a bunch of really good graphics designers and virtually no programmers. And they're going to have some really cool armor sets come out for a couple of months, maybe more. And as long as those designers are able to come up with really banger, cosmetics, then yeah, maybe your store is going to be good. But if you only have 5,000 people playing the game, is your revenue going to be altogether that much? Are you going to be able to extract enough value per month from players in order to maintain that level? And if you are able to do that, where's your growth? Because you're spending most of your money on really good graphics designers to make really cool cosmetics so that you can sell and make money. It becomes just a digital store where you buy pixels to make your character look cool. But then at the end of the day, your character looking cool doesn't make people log into the game. I mean, look at games like New World that did just this. They had some of the best graphics designers working for them, making new skins all the time. They would have updates almost every 2 weeks. They'd be on a cadence where there's a new cosmetic coming out and you want to buy it and it looks really cool and it's fun and there's good marketing behind it and there's all this fun stuff. So you go and buy it. Well, guess what? It's taken them like 5 or 6 years to come out with any kind of meaningful update other than a random expansion pack that you had to pay more money for, and all it did was give you some amount that people have been asking for forever. And then the mount doesn't even move altogether that much faster than the player because the world couldn't expand. And guess what? It took them so long because all of their money was spent on graphics designers who were making the skins, and they couldn't afford all of the code people to go and actually fix the dang game. So I think what they're doing, this is like a huge like divergence. And I do appreciate you, Man of Valor, for coming in and sharing your opinion, because, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And I don't mean to be like poo-pooing on your thoughts there, because they are valued. But at the end of the day, I think Mainframe has to look at it from how do we maintain this business? And they're trying to build a lean team. They're not trying to, you know, break the market and be the next World of Warcraft. And if that's what you're expecting them to do, then you're looking at the wrong game. Maybe down the line they do become successful and they are able to kind of like break into the World of Warcraft market. But in reality, they're not targeting World of Warcraft players in anything that they're doing. Like, I mean, yeah, they're making an MMO, but they're not really making, it's a sandbox social, you know, a social sandbox MMO. It has almost nothing to do with like World of Warcraft, where you're on like a track and you go through a story and you do all this stuff. It's all random and based on player input. So how do they keep on, you know, building things up for us? And how do they maintain their servers and guarantee that they're able to maintain what they're currently running? They have to price us in on plots. They have to. And yeah, they're probably going to have a skin shop at some point, but that's going to be income. That's how they make a profit. That's not how they, you know, every business has to make money. You have to make money as a business. They have investors that they have to make money for because their, you know, responsibility is to make money for their investors. That's what their business is about, making new value. So, you know, they do have to make money. Their skin shop could do that. Maybe they're taking a little bit off the top on subscriptions as well. Some of that goes to growth. Some of that goes to building, you know, their employees out. But they're not a company, I don't think, based on everything that they've said, I don't think they're looking to make a company that has more than like 200 employees. I just don't think that they're planning on doing that. I don't know how much employees work at Blizzard and for World of Warcraft, but I can guarantee you that the number probably includes 1,000 in there at some point. So, you know, I digress, but I don't think the game is going to die when they start charging. I think you're going to see who's actually playing Pax Dei and who is just kind of filling in for the next big thing. And I honestly, we don't have to talk about this altogether too much, but I think there's a huge problem in the MMO market right now where people are always looking for the next big thing. And MMOs, the way that we remember them, you know, everyone, you know, I'm barely over 30 years old. Our generation grew up playing the golden age of MMOs. I think we're on the dawn of like a new golden age, but we've also gotten into this rut where everyone is just like, okay, you know, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play it for 2 weeks and then I'm going to go to the next game. And I'm going to play that game and I'm going to play it for 2 weeks and then I'm going to go to the next game. And then I'm going to play the next game and I'm going to go to the next one. Skyshot, hello, welcome. So I think there's a huge problem with consumers, with us, and how we play games right now that isn't conducive to the product that we actually want. So we have this divergence. We have this divergence where people are, you know, let me write it down. So we have what we want, and how we act. Right? So you would think that we act like how we want, right? So how we act is in line with what we want. You would think that these things are one and the same. or more so, what we want and how we act are going in the same direction, and you get MMO of our dreams. So that's what we want, but what we want is an MMO. MMO. How we act is not that. We're not acting like how we want. We want some like fast service game. Hello, Grizzle Gaming. Hello, hello. And our initial investment pays for the future monthly sub after release, right? So our initial investment is like a licensing fee. So we're paying for the game and the right to play the game. We are also paying, we don't have a subscription fee right now. So the cost of, they're saying that they're going to release the game in June of 2025. I think that they're probably going to go over that, but their initial projections were they were going to release the game in 2025 around June. When they release the game, that's when they're going to start charging some ambiguous subscription fee. We don't know what that number is. We don't even know if they're continuing to plan on that. We don't know, but they said the last time they talked about it, they said they do plan on that. So I think with that, money that we paid, it was part of it was just, because you have to buy the game. And then the other part of it was a number that was what Mainframe assumed would be the cost per plot for a year-ish. So, a lot of it was what's called fixed cost or variable cost. So, they have their fixed costs. They understand that. And their fixed costs are going to be a small portion, probably, of that initial price. And then they have their variable cost, which they did the math for, how much money they're going to have to spend per player who plays PAX Day over the next year. How much money are they going to have to spend, assuming that, X number of players drop off after 3 months or 2 months or however many months. How much money are they going to need to not break their bank on maintaining the servers at their current status? So they charged initially for that 1 year of basically a 1 year subscription, and then for the license basically to play the game. So that's what our initial payment has been for. In the future, we're transitioning over to a subscription-based model, most likely. Again, they haven't confirmed any of this. This is just what we think. So that's what that is. So when it comes to like where we are in gaming in general, everyone wants to live over here. Like we have that MMO of our dreams, when we were kids and, eating pizza nonstop, staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning, playing games. We didn't have kids. We didn't have, a worry in sight. And we just had, Cheeto covered, hands and we're playing World of Warcraft. That was like the golden age for a lot of us. And we want to go back to that. We want that. We have the nostalgia of it. And that's why so many people still play WoW, is because they're pulling that nostalgia. So we want that. But the way that we as consumers act is that we want fast service games. So again, a lot of us have kids. I don't have kids, but a lot of us have kids who grew up during that initial golden age of MMOs. And a lot of us are developing jobs, growing professionally, doing all of that stuff. So we don't have time to devote to games. So the games that we do play are like instant action. You get in, you hit it. I mean, I've heard like games like Throne and Liberty. I hear that you can pretty much get to max level in like a couple of days with not too much effort. That's insane. An MMO that you can get to max level in 2 days. Like what is your content at that point, right? It's because we want fast service. We want to be able to get to the end as fast as we can and, experience the end game content. So I did it in 4 hours, skipping all the cutscenes. Exactly. So with that, like, we're never going to get the game that we want, that World of Warcraft experience where, I tried World of Warcraft for the first time like almost a year ago with the it was it wasn't WoW Classic. It was I forget what it was, but it was like the original WoW, like from 2003 or whenever it came out. It didn't hold your hand. It didn't tell you how to do missions or quests or anything like that. Like, there was no information on what you needed to do, and it threw you out into the world. And it was freaking jarring for me because I hadn't played one of those types of games in a long, long time. It didn't hold my hand. I didn't know what was possible, what was not possible. It was weird, everyone. It was pretty freaking weird. We don't have that anymore. All of the current MMOs, it's how can I get to end game as quickly as possible, and how can the cash shop extract as much money from me as a consumer as quickly as possible, so that when I turn over and I'm not playing the game anymore, that they've extracted the most amount of money from me possible. And then what some games do is they come out with expansions which extract more value. They charge you $15 or $25 or whatever for an expansion that adds like a couple areas, and it gets you to come back, and then you spend more money on the shop, and they extract more value from you. And it's a science. It's a science in how they manipulate the consumers to spend money. Now, I don't know about all of you, but that is toxic. That is horrible business. It's looking at you as a consumer and saying, how much money can I suck from you? How much can I pull from you? And then kick you out. And they do want to kick you out because you playing their game for a long time actually costs them more money. They'd rather you come in, play their game for 2 weeks, spend a crap ton of money on their product by buying random digital assets on their store, and then they never want you to play the game again. Or they want you to come back, stop playing the game, and then come back in 3 months when they can pull another $25 for you. It's predatory, and it's bad. It's horrible. So when I hear people come in and they're like, oh, I want that MMO that I used to play. I want that EverQuest. I want that Ultima Online. I want that Star Wars Galaxies. I want that original WoW experience. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because the way that you're acting as a consumer is signaling to businesses that you want fast service. They've spent millions of dollars on market research, and they know what you as a consumer want is the ability to go into a game and play it for 2 weeks, and they can get more money out of you by doing that than they can by building the game that you actually want. The WoW, or the Star Wars Galaxies, or the Ultima Online, or the Camelot, the Age of Camelot, right? These are the games that we want, but we don't act like it. So, RuneScape too. And we'll put that on there too. So like, these are the games we want, and like, we don't act like we want them. So kudos to Mainframe for having the guts to come out with an old, antiquated monetization strategy that keeps them freaking honest. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is we're keeping them honest. Their source of income is my subscription. If they're not doing something, that, produces a good product, they lose subscriptions, which means they're losing business. They're incentivized to make stuff that we want, not just make skins that they sell to us and kick us out the frickin' door. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty predatory. and they're just trying to extract money from you. So I appreciate games, and cosmetic stores are great. Cosmetic stores are great. It's a great way for a company to extract more money and make income, right? It should not be the main source of income. It should be a source of income. And the reason for that is because when it becomes the main source of income, you as a business start focusing on making more money that way. You stop building your game and just start extracting value from your customers. So, they aren't going to be bringing subs until they launch the game. That's at least 8 months away. At most, it's a year plus away, right? So, that's just an aside. But Man of Valor, I do appreciate your opinion on the matter. I didn't mean to like poop on it, but you have your opinion, I have my opinion. In terms of is it confirmed or not, Skyshot, they have mentioned that they are considering multiple options, and one of the ones that they are, highly considering for monetization is subscription base. And honestly, I support them in that. They got a couple of vocal people coming out saying, "Hey, we don't want subscriptions, we don't want whatever." But they said, "Hey, this is something that we're thinking." I think it keeps them honest. I hope they do it. If Pax Day came out and said, we're planning on going free to play and cash shop, I'm going to be like, well, it was nice while it lasted, but a game like that can't sustain. I've seen it happen. Once the player base starts dropping off because they can't add any new content because all they're paying for is just devs to make more cosmetics so they can sell more, so they can make money. If their player population drops below a certain point, they no longer become a business because they are losing too much money to maintain all of the servers, and their costs all are still at the same point when they first released the game, but there's less people playing. So that means they either have to extract more money from the people who are still playing, or they're going to start losing money and they're going to have to close up shop eventually. So if they come out saying like, yeah, this is our strategy, then they've shown their cards. They've sat there and they've been like, yes, we only want to make money on the short term, and then we're going to close up shop immediately after that. Fortunately, I don't think that's the direction they're going. So I don't mean to scare anyone on that. If it's a fixed amount and not based on the plots, I'm okay with that. I keep hearing a rumor that they will charge you per plot, and I really hope that's not true. So I think there's going to be maybe a combo. I think there's going to be a limit to how many plots you can own. Like there's going to be a cap. They have to make a cap. Otherwise you're going to have someone come in with like thousands of dollars and just buy an entire map. Technically that's of their own prerogative, but they should make it at least functionally difficult for them by making them have to have, 50 accounts in order to do something like that. They have to have, they'll have a fixed amount, and, maybe the maximum is like 6 plots or something like that. I don't know. When you add all of the money up, to own those 6 plots, maybe that comes out to be $15. Maybe that's how much it costs for them. So they, at most you're going to be charged 15, or at most you're going to be charged 25, or like whatever that number is. But a usable amount of plots, like 2 plots, maybe that costs, $10 or something like that, $5. And then, to get up to 6 plots, that's when you're spending 20. So if you want 3 plots or 4 plots, then maybe that's around the $15 mark per month. But they do have to charge on a per plot basis because of the amount of data that is required, in order to maintain that data. So if there's if someone owns 100 plots, but they're only paying $15, then, they're costing mainframe a lot more money than the other people who have 1 plot and are paying $15. Yeah, you got 4. I don't think you need more than that. I'm pretty content, to be honest. Yeah. And, I think they're going to I think what they're testing right now is also how much does it cost to run the servers because now they know how much data is on there at this point. So how much is it costing them? And then they can kind of gauge the price and the cost alongside that. If there is variable plots, yeah, it'll have variable monthly costs. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, if one account can own 6 plots, they need that 6 plot account needs to pay a little bit more money than a 4 plot account. In my opinion, the only reason I play, I think right now is the RP/community that's got me hooked more than the game mechanics. And yeah, do you play on Danu? Are you a Danu player? Because if you are, you should totally come and join us for the Golden Festival. It's going to happen the weekend before the wipe happens. So absolutely you should come. And that invite goes to anyone, even if you don't have a character on Danu yet. I highly recommend you make a character, you spawn in somewhere like Lidlaw on carries, or Tremin if you're able to, and then walk down to Dolavan, come take a look at the Golden City. We're at the Petra Day. You can't miss it. Literally, we're going to have a huge festival with festival games and all that stuff where, the items carry over. So you'll be able to bring all this stuff over. We are doing guided tours, but there's a lot of things that we've built in the city for things that don't exist yet in the game, but we're planning on doing it. So, yeah. Oh, Doug. Hi, Doug. We have talked in game before. Thank you for stopping by the stream. It would be nice to have all accounts be able to have X plots with perhaps more based on activity, a default sub price for all user types of thing. Yeah, I could think of something like that. I could see something like that too. And they haven't, to be clear, they haven't specified what their monetization is going to be. So, anything that we say right now, it's all up in the air. It's all speculation. So, take it with what it is. I'd also like the game to have all the success in the world, but we have to be realistic too. And just so you know, I've been following all your enthusiasm for the game by providing information throughout the year since the first alpha. Thank you, Man of Valor. And I think an important thing to remember is that right now there's not a lot of extra stuff for players to do. It's very much so a building game. So right now we're really focused in on that. But there's a lot of other stuff that is not there yet that is coming, which is going to give players a whole lot more reasons to constantly engage with the game where they're not doing it right now. So I think that stuff is coming, and that's going to drive more player engagement. But I mean, right now they're just targeting the players who are going to build the game. Because that's what we're doing. I mean, we're the people who are building the thing, in the sandbox. They need players like us to be in the game for their game to be successful, because we're the ones that build the content that their game is populated with. So they targeted us specifically because they knew that we were the critical piece of the puzzle. And I say we, I'm talking about all of us who are playing Pax Dei right now. They know that we're kind of like that critical glue that's going to make their game successful. So they targeted a lot of the features for us. And now they're looking at, who's still here and who's still building, who's still doing all that stuff. Why? What is the experience that they have? So that is kind of like, what they're looking for is that kind of thing. Absurd. Welcome to chat. It's kind of crazy to charge $100 right now for 4 plots and have to pay a subscription fee after already paying $100. I think you don't need 4 plots. I think that's something that we should be clear about. I think another aspect of this that's also important to note is that you're paying $100 for a year plus worth of value. Let's say 4 plots normally is something that they would be charging $15 a month for, right? In theory, you're saving $80 in a year by not paying a subscription, right? And that doesn't even cover the cost of just buying the game. So let's say the game was like a 25 Skyshot. Thank you for the follow. So that's not even saying that that's not even saying that you, like, let's say that the game itself is valued at $30. It's early access, so it's at 25. So that means you're actually paying $75 in subscription. So that, I think, is one aspect, right? So that $75 you're paying for a month, or you're effectively paying for what is that? You're paying for 5 months of subscription. $15 a month times 5 is 75. So you're getting 7 additional months for free on top of that. I don't think it's necessarily all, and that's assuming that they come out and start charging a monthly subscription in a year. If they go longer than that, then that number's even getting smaller. So you've gotten from that perspective, you're getting a pretty good deal. Now, what I would like to see is maybe for people who bought the game, and played before the game went into full release, if we get maybe a reduced, like a reduction in subscription fees, or we maybe it's not a reduction, but maybe we get the first 4 months free or something like that in the meantime. So I think that's, and as Eltarii is saying, it is targeting whales who want to contribute to the development of the game. Definitely, I would agree that is an appropriate characterization of what I'm saying. I do think that they're targeting right now people who are building the game with them. They're not targeting people who are just normal consumers. They're looking at the early adopters who are willing to, fork over some more money to get in early and, get experience. Yes. So, you should totally come and visit, Skyshot or Doug. We're in Dolavan, which is in Caries, and we're at the Petra Day on the Golden Isle. So you should totally come and visit. And someone will gladly give you a tour of the amazingly large city. I think the only concern I have about plot amounts is the limited group size, and basically groups slightly prioritizing plot counts. Of course, it's good. Good communities will want to focus on quality of people, but if you have to choose between two similar peeps, the ones offering more plots will get the spot. The good communities will focus on the good players. That's all I have to say. The Golden Company, we have a bunch of players. The Golden Company, the requirement for the Golden Company to join the Golden Company is you contribute 1 plot to the city. Many players contribute more than that, but the only requirement is that 1 plot to be a part of the Golden Company. In theory, that means the Golden City is only going to be 100 plots big, because we'll only ever have 100 players. We only have like 30-ish right now in our core group, and we have a couple, we have like 80 people who have played with us on and off over the course of this cycle, but we have about 30 core players who are playing, weekly. But in theory, when we get to 100, that's going to be only 100 plots. I envision that being slightly larger, like 2.3 plots on average per person. So we'll have around 230-ish plots in the city built by the Golden Company. But then we want to bring all the other neighbors and all of that in there who that will kind of come in. But the city itself, I don't envision necessarily growing exponentially in size, but I do see it growing exponentially in population over the next couple. So yeah, Man of Valor, why not pay once for the game, like $60 for 2 plots, and have the possibility of having a third through the game itself or not, and have the possibility of having 2 more plots as subs and more things included. This wouldn't work. This option wouldn't work, maybe not, but at the moment, the current one doesn't either, and a store would have to be added. So I think they should not be relying on an in-game store to make their cost to be in making the game. If they do that, then their game's gonna slowly deteriorate until it's just an item shop. Whatever they do, they just need to be able to cover the fixed cost and the variable cost of making their game. So their fixed costs are their employees. How many employees do they have? Oops. My screen went to sleep because I stopped touching it. So, I think their, fixed cost, how much does it cost to have their offices? How much does it cost to have their employees, keep the lights on? Their variable costs are how many servers do they need to spin up to store all the data for all the players who are playing? Whatever business model they go with, their variable costs need to be covered indefinitely, because if you have, 20 players in an area that come and play the game and they load a bunch of data, into the server, and that server is going to exist from now until when the game closes out in 20 years or something like that. If the game closes out in 20 years, those players' things, if there's no subscription and there's no way to remove their plots, then those players are never going to return, and it's just a ghost town. And all that data over 20 years is going to stack up way higher than the $60 that those 20 players, each spent. It's going to be a lot more money. I guarantee it. Unless the cost of servers go down, which, over time it will. But even assuming that, they're going to lose money on those players. So that means that they have to bring more new players on in order to continue to support the old players. But it's like a snake eating its own tail. They're going to have to get more and more and more customers to cover all of the customers that they're losing on the back end. If they have a subscription, they don't have to worry about that because the subscription covers the variable cost. I think they should offer additional plots at the expense of a subscription. The ones included in your initial purchase should be free, obviously capping additional plots for balance reasons. Surely if it's a $5 a plot, I'm sure a ton of folks will bite, but it doesn't punish initial purchases. So again, the problem with that one, Absurd, is mostly just if you charge it in that way, if that's how you're doing it, then you will lose over the long run. You will lose money. It's a non-sustainable business plan for them. So that's, something to consider. Yeah, I don't think, that they are, going to be able to sustain development and server costs that way. Bro Thaluls, hello and welcome. You said, how is it WoW sells releases for $60 to $100 and a $15 monthly cost and no one bats an eye? Mainframe does it and people lose their minds, and you get a lot more personalization with Pax Day. I kind of sit on that side, bro. I believe that WoW is able to get away with a lot more. and they have a lot of bloat to their company as well, right? You know, they have thousands of employees working on World of Warcraft. Even after many layoffs at Blizzard Activision, they have thousands of people working on the game. They have to be able to charge, you know, $60 to $100 on top of a subscription fee to do all of that stuff. So, you know, there is a lot of money that World of Warcraft is able to make, and a lot of that is just from nostalgia. And they also have an in-game shop. They're printing money. Mainframe's only asking for $15 a month or $20 a month or whatever it is. But the difference, and here's the important thing, World of Warcraft is making a lot more money, right? They're making way more money because the data that World of Warcraft is storing is a lot more efficient than the data that Mainframe is storing, right? For every player, World of Warcraft is storing small numbers of data because it's all just a database, that it's a character. For Pax Dei, they're not just storing the character information, they're storing the potentially millions of placed, you know, items in players' builds on top of that. You know, people wondered like, oh, why is Mainframe showing off their server tech at the UE Fest that happened a couple of weeks ago? It's because it's freaking insane. Like, it's actually insane what they're doing, because they're building a large-scale, massively multiplayer online game where you can place millions of individual pieces on a server and everyone can see it. And they're doing it efficiently where you know, a half decent computer can, you know, render all of this stuff. So yeah, a lot of bloat. The Sparkle Pony made more money than StarCraft 2 as a game. Also true. Yeah, I understand. It will be a big challenge for them to find a solution that works. Comparing, I don't want to defend Star Citizen, for example, but how that game, but how is it that a game like Star Citizen has no intention of subbing? The game has been in alpha for what, about 11 years? Okay, so first and foremost, Star Citizen is going to have a sub fee. I hope you know that. It 100% is confirmed that they're going to have a sub fee for Star Citizen. You can spend $4,000 on your spaceships. I might be speaking from experience, but you're still going to be spending $15 a month to subscribe to Star Citizen when it comes out in 50 years. You will. And unless you came in early on those spaceships and got the lifetime insurance, when you die in those spacecrafts that you're buying right now and you just have, you know, the 3-month insurance or something like that, you're getting whammed. You're getting absolutely destroyed. So I think, you know, there's an aspect there too. Sorry, YouTube, I've been kind of ignoring y'all on the chat side over here. Let me catch up on what's going on this side. Weight limit on equipment. So this is stuff that we know is coming. Weight on equipment. Let's make this bigger. Other things that people are saying is coming over as well. Stats on gear. So TM stats on gear, I don't think there's no like strength or, you know, something like that, but there is like the different defensives and protections that you can get from it. The game will be a never-ending pally meta. Hopefully not. I think they're going to be adding some more like weight things where the best armor in the game isn't just heavy armor. And I mean, for certain builds, maybe yes, but I think there's going to be a lot more incentive for wearing other types of armor and making sacrifices in defense for other types of spells and stuff like that. So yeah. When are silver and gold coming back into the game? Jewelry making is horrible. So they did mention TM for the making of that stuff, that they're going to be adding nodes, so precious metal nodes. I don't think that's coming with this update. So just an FYI. All right, so that's I got through YouTube. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore y'all. I love y'all over there. That's where most of our content is. For anyone who's watching over on Twitch, like 98% of the professional gamer and Eltarii and all of that, we're on YouTube. So click on the link down below and go check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified whenever we post new content. Okay, so back over to this conversation. So Thaw, welcome to the chat. Glad that you could make it. Will the introduction of marketplacers lose its appeal initially during early access due to crafting progression players have already made? I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because they're also including, as we mentioned over here, they're adding knighthoods. So knighthoods create demand, which allows the markets to succeed, which then markets make gold, and gold goes into the parishes, which help knighthoods, which then generate markets. So it's this cyclical cycle. It's like a triangle where each one of them is helping each other in different ways. So I do think it'll be, shared in that way. Not as many people have made much progression with crafting as you think. Yeah, I think there's, I only recently made it to level 40 armor smithing. I am impressed by literally anyone who's doing that solo. Like if you did do it solo, please take care of your mental health. Like I'm concerned for you. Like please reach out to a friend and just tell them that you care about them and that you guys should hang out sometime, because it's a long grind, a really long grind. Let's see here. I'm looking forward to this weapon update and the new spells. I'm looking forward to being able to cancel. I really hope they take away the ability to cancel your attacks and spells by moving. I hope that's not a thing. I hope you can still hold down buttons and cast the spells and then have it immediately queue up your movement after you cast. I do hope that block canceling is a thing. That's important. Right click to cancel, problem solved. Soloable PvE that's coming up. Last I saw that of dungeon play and PvE in general was a big turnoff. But if they're fixing that, it's very nice. Please take care of your mental health. This, yeah. Oh man. So when we started, we had one guy who did blacksmithing, armor smithing, and weaponsmithing. He solved the problem, but yeah, the dude burned the F out. Yeah, absolutely. You gotta spread the love. So yeah, definitely. So for the soloable PvE content, I can actually show you some of the soloable PvE content that we're aware of so far. Let me go to this. So if you look at this fancy little picture here, this is an example of a soloable PvE content. So whatever's going on right here, you have a Zebian, and there's their little buffet table with all of their apples and carnal delights that they never eat. And for that, this is kind of an area where I'm thinking you're going to be able to loot something or get something, but then, there's only like one or two mobs here. This is an example of the soloable content. There's a couple of these that they showed. Here's another one. This is like of the Zebian variety. So this one only has 2 Zebians that you have to take care of, and they're far enough apart where, you're going to be able to, fight them 1 by 1 or 2 on 1, whatever. Then, scrolling up, there is, or maybe down, there's a couple of examples of like Inquisition style. So, here's what looks to be a smaller area for soloable PvE content. And then there's also, here's Lost Souls. Oops. So here's Lost Souls. And this one looks like another solo PvE level here where, there's only like 2 Lost Souls here to completely ream your face across the gravel because they're monsters and they hurt really bad. Yeah, so just adding solo content. I think the soloable PvE content is going to add into markets. So it's going to be something where you're able to get gold. And that allows solo players to harvest value, and then they can go and use that value at a market to kind of bring things together, I think is what's kind of happening there. Logos Rogue, hello and welcome to chat. Do you anticipate Mesmerize / Fireball combo being nerfed or eliminated in the next patch? I think eventually it will be. And I think the way that it's going to get nerfed is the devs have already stated that they're going to make it so when you get CC'd, you're going to get like a CC debuff timer. And if you get CC'd again, then the effect of your CC, the second CC is going to be diminished from what it would have been if you didn't have that timer. And if you get, CC'd again, it's going to be even more diminished until it doesn't have any effect. So I think that's going to be the Mez Fireball combo is going to be fixed by having that as well. So yeah, they're definitely going to implement that most likely with kind of the diminishing returns on CC. Just seen a group of 5 wipe out 3 times trying to enter a dungeon with them queuing up stuns and such, with prepped healers, buff food, etc. All made it a daunting to think to try. Well, Hoster, if you're ever on Danu, the Golden Company runs multiple public dungeon runs a week, and we're very, very fair on loot rotation and all of that stuff. It's very clear. We're actually trying a new system right now to make it even better for everyone. It's a great way for solo players or small groups to get tattered sigils in a lot, easier ways, and also to get access to higher tier relics that normally you wouldn't be able to get unless you had like a group of 6 players or more constantly farming dungeons with good gear. So it's a really good opportunity. Highly recommend checking it out. The wall strap. Yeah, when you do the shield wall, I think that's going to get fixed as well with the AI update. If they can't path to your character, then they're just going to swap and attack someone else, is what's going to happen. Oh, you haven't gotten the game yet. Don't have a group to play with, so you haven't purchased it. Well, Hoster, you should definitely check out the Golden City. If you don't want to join a big, a larger group like the Golden Company, you can definitely check out settling in or around the Golden City. And, it's a very open, public place where players can come and hang out and build in and do all that stuff. So definitely consider that if you are interested in playing the game and just haven't made the leap yet. And I guess selfless plug here as well. If you use the referral code up top, I do get a little, 10% off of whatever package you get, but don't think you have to do it. Everything I make off of these things just go back into making the channel better. So I have a real life job that pays for my well-being. I just do this because it's fun and I like building communities with all of you. And yeah, there's tons of great clans on Danu, so you'll never go wrong there. But if you are looking for a good group of players to play around with, I can say from personal experience, the Golden Company's got what it needs to give you a fun time. That's a really weird way of putting it. It's getting kind of late. Is indeed a professional. Whatever. Kind of. Shoddy, hello. DVC. Just passively listening while mining. Glad you could stop by. I do appreciate it. But I think, so what we've kind of talked about today, some stuff in progress. I do want to hear kind of more about how knighthoods are going to work, how markets are going to work, if we're going to see parishes come in the autumn update. I'm really hoping that we do see like an initial implementation. But so far we've only heard about, solvable PvE stuff, attack and spell canceling. We've seen stuff about the journal. We know that crafting skills are changing. We know that combat skills are changing. No longer able to use two-handed swords. That's getting changed. So there's a bunch of stuff that's changing there. There's going to be a new biome, corrupted plains. We also have seen 6 new spells shared as well. So that's the things that we know. There's a lot of stuff that's work in progress. We don't know where it's going to be. So that's a thing. So when the crafting skill change, when I'm talking about that, I'm pretty sure they confirmed that herbalism is going away for a while because it's not distinct enough currently to actually be different. So that's why they're taking it away. I think it's just kind of getting folded in with cooking, the cooking discipline. And then in terms of combat skills, there's a couple of weapon types that are going away. I think at the one-handed axe and the two-handed sword are both going away because they're not distinct enough and they need to like rework them before they add them at. So they are fixing them, but I think only two-handed axes are staying. Two-handed swords didn't feel different enough from the two-handed axes, so they're stepping away and they're going to be adding new stuff instead. Expect any advancement on clan management? That topic seems to have gone quiet as of recently. I do think that they're going to be adding more perms and stuff. They mentioned it back in the summertime. I don't know if it's going to make it into the like winter or the autumn or winter. But I do think it's coming sooner rather than later. So they have mentioned that too. One of the devs said in general they were fixing rip/whirl. Yeah, they say occasionally they say semi-different things. One thing that they did also say in one of their announcements was quite literally that they are taking the great sword away for a while and making some changes to it. This might just be the Zweihander. It might be two-handed sword and Zweihander. Who knows? But there are a couple of weapons that they're taking away to kind of rework. Maybe they implement the changes. Maybe that's something that they're going to just fit in. But I'm actually hoping that they take it away for a while so that they can make it feel really distinct and, impactful and feel different than what other weapons feel like. I thought it was just Will, CFW, and a few others. They're working. Yeah, it might be something I missed in the general Discord where they're specifying, but that's just what I know right now. But anyways, y'all, we have had such a great time talking today. I do have to end the stream here. I have a very early morning. I have to actually wake up in 5 hours. So I am going to go to sleep, but thank you all for stopping by, hanging out, and talking Pax Day with me. It's been really, really great, and I've really enjoyed it a lot. It's been great getting to talk with all of you. We do have the PAX Friday review coming out on Friday. So definitely check that out. If you are looking for any more PAX Day or PAX Day related content, a lot of the stuff that we talked about tonight is also stuff that I've talked about a couple of different times. Man of Valor, thank you for the follow. I have talked about on YouTube in various videos, so definitely check that out. And we'll be back at it on Friday. We have a lot of videos that we're planning for the release of the new update. Our new goal, I set a new goal every time we wipe. Our new goal is to be coming out with kind of something fun, something informative, and a live stream every week with the new wipe. So that's kind of the new pattern that we're working on. So hopefully you all like it. I do plan on coming out with a lot of new stuff. So if you haven't and you're on Twitch, go check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe over there so you can get notified whenever we come out with new videos. Definitely helps out with all of that. And, thanks again to everyone who's joining, all of our, subs who are supporting the channel on both YouTube and our channel members over on Twitch. Y'all are absolute monsters, and I appreciate you for everything that you do. And this has been another very professional Tuesday PAX Day live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back at it again, hopefully at the normal time of 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time next week. And hopefully I am able to wake up tomorrow morning on time. But it was too fun talking to you all, and I really do enjoy it. The Golden Festival, last thing. Golden Festival, it is happening. It's happening the weekend before the wipe happens. We will have items that we're going to be giving away. We have various festival games that you all can play and enjoy. We actually showed a couple of them at the very beginning of the stream, which will be uploaded onto YouTube pretty much automatically after we end the stream. So if you want to see what that is all about, go check it out. But it's happening the weekend before the wipe. So whenever they announce the wipe, that's when the weekend before that is when we're going to have it. So definitely check it out. Hope you all have a great rest of the night. And until next time, I am Eltarii, the professional gamer. Have a good rest of your night, morning, and day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.